Tony D and Little Joan with a screenwriter's rant on the Banshees of Inisherin, starring Colin Farrell and Brendon Gleeson, in a very strange movie that I can only describe as probably the most Irish movie I think ever made. Smash like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Check out my books. Links in the description. Comedy horror in South Jersey. It's what? It's the Pineys, books 1 through 9, available on Amazon.com. Don't forget, Kindle Unlimited, it's free, and there's an audiobook for one. Now, these guys, for those of you who don't remember, were in a movie called In Bruges, which is a really good movie if you haven't seen it. It's very odd, very different. This is made by the same director. I'll read you the synopsis. Set on a remote island off the west coast of Ireland, the Banshees of Inisherin follows the lifelong friends I can't even say these names, they're so Irish. Padraic, Colin Farrell, and Colm, Brendon Gleeson, who find themselves at an impasse when Colm unexpectedly puts an end to their friendship. A stunned Padraic, aided by his sister, I cannot say these Irish names, Sabalhan, and troubled young Islander Dominic, I got that one, endeavors to repair the relationship, refusing to take no for an answer. But Padraic's repeated efforts only strengthen his former friend's resolve. When Colm delivers a desperate ultimatum, events swiftly escalate with shocking consequences. So this is a very interesting premise, I think, because the stakes are just very low, but at the same time they're kind of high, right? Because you can imagine on a small remote island in Ireland, how the breakup of two lifelong friends would suddenly be received by the people around them, right? It would be like, well, that's weird. Why aren't they friends anymore? There must be a reason. But really, Colm on the right there just thinks he's boring. There's definitely going to be more to it, I imagine. And you've got these two heavyweight actors. I mean, these two are both amazing. Colin Farrell, come on. He's the Penguin, in case you don't know it. He's the latest Penguin. And Brendon Gleeson has a long storied history. Check out his resume sometime. And it takes place, it's very Irish. It's all in pubs and near pubs and near the shore. There's a great scene where he's like saying, "You spent 2 hours talking to me about your donkey's poo, what was in your donkey's poo," and then he said, shows that you were listening. I was talking about my pony's poo. He doesn't say poo, by the way. Just trying to clean it up for you, YouTube, because you're a-hole. Anyhow, and they've got little character actors on the side. He eventually gives them an ultimatum saying that if you don't leave me alone, every time you bother me, I'm going to start cutting off my fingers. This is a crazy ultimatum, right? And he plays the violin. I guess that's his job, to play music in the pub. I don't know. I don't know what time period this takes place in. It's a remote island, so it could take place in the modern day. I'm not seeing any cell phones or cars, but it could be relatively modern. Am I seeing any cars? I don't think there's any cars in this. So it could take place in the past. I mean, the violin, that's been around a long time. Not sure when this takes place. There's glasses, that's not a new technology. I don't know when. It's a remote island, so it may just be that they don't have cars because the island's so small and everybody just walks. So, and you could see how this could be. Look at this. He's crying, and that's Colin Farrell crying. I mean, that's quality crying. Yeah, you're not gonna get better quality crying from an actor than Colin Farrell. I mean, this guy can't really act. He really can't. So, I saw In Bruges. I loved it. It's a bizarre movie. This looks almost as bizarre, and consequently the stakes. See, when you make the stakes low, screenwriters like to do these big giant stories where the universe is going to be destroyed and blah blah blah. No, man, small stories, right? So you've got this isolated village where these two guys not being friends anymore is a big deal to them. It might not be, nobody outside this little island's going to care, but to these people, these characters, it's going to be big. So, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't think he really cuts his fingers off. I think that's just an idle threat, but, it's like, it's destroying his life, right? This is his lifelong friend. Suddenly he just doesn't want to be friends anymore. What the hell is up with that? Yeah, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Who would just end a friendship for no reason? Seems very, very silly and ill-advised. Now, maybe there's some reason behind it, and I'm sure that comes out in the movie, but geez. I can only speculate. Let's see. So first act, probably establishes how boring Colin Farrell is. And establishes their friendship. And they seem to be getting along. It seems to be boring, but everybody's getting along. It seems fine. And then towards the end of the first act, Gleeson drops a bomb and is just like, I don't want to be friends with you anymore. And Colin Farrell just doesn't even know how to take it. It's just so bizarre. Right? So he goes and he tells his family, and they're like, what? What's going on? And then everybody's asking, because it's a little community. Everybody knows everybody else's business. So they're asking him, and they're asking, well, what did you do? So it's all this confusion and whatnot. And then, how would you react? Well, Colin Farrell's like, well, I need to know. Well, why aren't we friends anymore? And then he tells him you're boring and whatever. And then he says, well, he still tries to be his friend, tries to do something nice for him. Still doesn't work. And then, he keeps trying to come back. And then Gleeson gives him the ultimatum after all this talking. And the ultimatum is, leave me alone, or I'm going to cut off my own fingers. Then in the second act, that's partly in the second act then. The second act then, does he cut off his fingers? That would be crazy if he cut off his finger. It'd be crazy if he even cut off one. I think it's an idle threat, but I don't know. So maybe it's about his friend doing everything in his limited power to try to win back, repair the friendship. And then eventually Gleeson sort of breaks and then accepts him back, or they restart their friendship somehow. Or maybe Gleeson reveals some dark secret that had some tie to him, but we don't know. Now, this is a scene where a dog comes in and tries to steal the shears that he threatened to cut his own fingers off, and then he smiles. Written and directed by Martin McDonough. Oh, I'll see this. I'll absolutely see this. After In Bruges, of course I'll see this. And you got to figure these guys both like working together, because this is the second movie where they'd be pretty tight. They were friends in Bruges. It's just they were criminals in that. In this, they're just two yokels in Ireland. So, yeah, this is the kind of like deep detail we need in movies. This is the kind of deep detail, screenwriters, you can bring from your own life. You think, oh, this is my life's boring, who cares? No, you can discover the uniqueness of your own experience. Bring that to the screen. Most people around the world don't know who you are, or how your life goes, or how your relatives interact, how the village reacts in this case. I guess it's a village. The island, it's kind of like a village. So, never discount those little tiny details, because this is like a fine wine of movies right here. Oh, this is going to be good. It's shot wonderfully. You've got beautiful scenery. You've got amazing talent here. They're taking their time. They're building this up. It's not going to be bells and whistles here. This is going to be a real acting. This is like gourmet cheese right here of movies. So, yeah, the Banshees of I can't say it. My only critique would be that last word has got to go. need a simple name, but I assume that's the name of the island. The Banshees of Inisherin. Inisherin. I'll go see it. Searchlight Pictures. Coming to, I don't know, probably an art house. This is, well, I shouldn't say probably. This is definitely an art house movie. I'm giving it an upvote, as you can see. Very rare for me. Art house movie. Definitely going to art house release. And probably will be on video on demand relatively soon by the winter, I would say. So, yeah. Good movie. I'm going to say right now, it's probably an excellent movie. Fine wine of movies. You will like it. I'm doing a French accent, even though it's Irish. And that's it for Tony D and Little Joan. Check us out on Odysee, Bitchute, and Rumble for our more bass takes. Check me out at Ambler Comic Con on August 13th from 10 to 4, and at Asbury Park at Paranormal Books on August 14th. Check out all my book tour dates in the description below. We'll see you tomorrow.